everybody. Welcome to the Rodeo Wagon podcast brought to you by Western Edge App and produced by Casmic Cowboy Productions. Make sure you go to Instagram, check out all the cool stuff they're doing. We're here with Pedro, owner of CP Western.
Yes, sir. Thank you much for inviting us to be a part of the podcast. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, and we finally made some time to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do it in person again sometime too. You're in California.
Oh yeah, yes, sir. Right in the middle of California, Reed, California, about 40 minutes south of Fresno, which is what a lot of people know. Or one of the bigger rodeos here is the Clovis Rodeo.
Close.
Last weekend of April.
Heck yeah. I haven't rode at Clovis, but I've been to Fresno a bunch.
Okay, yeah, we're right here. I mean, from like the entrance to Fresno, maybe 30 minutes tops, but we're right in the middle.
That's cool. Man, how
Yes,
long
sir.
you've gotten everything. So tell us a little bit about like what your store is, the product, and kind of how you came to start that up.
All right, so we're CP Western here in Reedley, obviously. So it all kind of just started as what if we start this? It was me and my buddy. We were like, all right, let's sell boots. Nobody really sold like, I mean, everybody obviously sells like your Ariat boots, your Justins, but nobody really sold anything, at least in our area, like what's out there in like Texas, like kind of like an R. Watson style, like that kind of boot, like a more punchy boot, not your typical just brown and black boot. So we kind of just started brainstorming, and then in Aria, nobody really sells open crown hats, so we kind of started going from there. We just went at it. We didn't know what we were doing. It started off as a clothing store, and it kind of ventured off into what we have now, which is like all the bull riding gear. So that kind of just came over time. We saw a need for it in the market, just from being at different rodeos, being up and down and then I just kind of started like, hey, do you know anybody who sells bull ropes? And I was like, bull ropes. And then just kind of started asking questions. And we got together with a couple bull rope makers, and we've been working with both of them now for a little under 3 years.
Okay. And that's how I
Yes,
first heard of you. Keith Hall, he got a rope from
yes,
you
sir.
not too long ago, and he was like, "Man, you got to
Hmm.
check this company out." He said, "I ordered a bull rope," and he said that he's going to have it by the end of the week. And everybody, generally in the rope industry, if they 4 weeks, it's 8 weeks, and it's
Yeah,
never on time. And he said if it wasn't there that week, and I'm like, "Was it a pre-made one?" And he's like, "Nope, it was custom
yeah,
done."
custom.
Like, dang.
Fully customs. So that's kind of what we advertise a lot, especially since we're like a smaller company. I mean, I have a lot of in-stock ropes here. So if you call me and you're in a rush, you're like, hey, I need a rope. I try to have at least one of every rope. So one left hand, one right hand American, one right hand, one left hand Brazilian. Most of the time, when it came to Keith, he called me. He's like, hey man, I seen you on TikTok. I need a bull rope. And I was like, what do you need? He's like, well, I'm looking for a very specific one. So he sent me the specs of it. And I was like, all right, I told him 3 or 4 days. Give me 3 or 4 days. I'll have my guy just drop everything that we're doing, and he's gonna hop on your bull rope. It takes him about, I mean, he doesn't work all day, but it takes him about 2 or 3 days of weaving it all up and getting the leather in there, and then the next day to ship it. So usually we're 3 or 4 days, and then we offer the express shipping, which is one day from like overnight shipping, and then we just offer your regular UPS shipping, which takes about 7 to 9 days.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the story there with Keith. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's when I saw his rope, and he's an American, so it's a little different than what
Hmm.
what I am. But at that point, when I got contacted you, I was kind of in a bind too. And you probably get it a lot, but a lot of us bull riders don't think ahead, and we're not ordering,
Oh
two,
no.
3 weeks ahead of time. It's generally last minute, like the
Yeah.
finally broke down and it's just biting into your hand.
Hmm.
And so then it's kind of imperative
Yeah.
now. So
So
it's
that
kind
that's
of a deal.
kind of the thing that I kind of started to pick up on, to where a lot of people were like, "Hey, I need a rope now," and I'm like, "Damn!" Like when I first started, it was like, "Dude, like I'm getting." We were working with one guy, which to this day we still work with him. His company is Strong Bull Ropes out of Mexico.
Okay.
Super good rope. And I would call him. I was like, "Hey man, I need ropes." He's like, "Shoot, I got a 4 month wait." Oh man! So when I started, once it was my turn, I was like, "Dude, make me 12 ropes, make me 16, makes me 20." But it was still from that 4 month wait to the time that he made the ropes, because he takes a little bit longer. So I mean, I was getting maybe 10 or 12 ropes every 6 months from him. So then I found this other guy just on Facebook. I mean, I like to say it's the biggest advantage I have is that I'm bilingual, so I can communicate with these guys a lot better than, I mean, like pretty much anybody who doesn't speak Spanish.
Right.
So I go in there and I tell them, I'm like, hey, I need this specifically. Boom, boom, boom. Can you do it? Yeah, send me a sample. So before we started working with this specific guy, which is JG, I sampled like three or four other rope makers, and man, the quality's not there, or just the materials that they're using. Everything. I mean, I've I've ridden bulls for fun. I have bulls, but I've never like professionally done it. So I try to just kind of nitpick all the little details and think about how you guys think, to where, I mean, every little detail matters, obviously, for you guys. So kind of did that, sampled a couple rope makers, and then just stuck with these two, and we've been with them for a
Yeah,
while now.
that's actually kind of encouraging too, that you're kind of testing out quality of leather. Because I've went through, man, over the last 3 years, I've really been testing out different ropes. I
Mm-hmm.
I rode an American all the time, and then I transitioned to the Brazilian 2018, and I just love the Brazilian. But then just going from the stiffness to different kinds of leather, there's a few
Mm-hmm.
ARD, I believe, their ropes. Austin
Yeah.
Ramirez, I think is his name.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Quality of leather was it's a different kind of leather. It's not the same, and I actually you probably can't see it because I got it, and I don't mind that quality. It's kind of hard to see these ones. So this is the one Austin has, and
It's
it's almost like a glazed. Like you can tell, like I don't know if he's soaking it in benzoin, but once that
uh
initial breaks in, then they don't last very long, but
yeah.
they break over quick. Opposed to, your leather, you probably can't tell a whole lot from looking at it. It's definitely a different kind of leather that's being used.
Yeah. So we've been experimenting with a couple different tanneries. So we kind of been like in the last 4 months, we've been like kind of seeing which one's been working better for us. I get them. So like this leather right now, which is like what I have here, what you have there,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
this one's a little bit different. I don't know if you could tell, if you could show the block there. So this one's a little bit not as thick
Yeah.
compared
Okay.
to what you have there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this one's more
A
flat.
thicker leather.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been kind of seeing what works best. I've been getting input from all the guys. So with those ropes, like the one that you showed there, what they do is kind of spray like a kind of, I guess you could call it like a clear coat. It's just a clear coat of like clear paint to make it look shiny. So
Uh-huh.
it's nothing
Probably hard
special.
at first. That
It's
initial
not, yeah,
drying.
yeah. It's nothing special. It's just uh clear coat of spray paint so that it looks shiny. And a lot of people have started doing it. Which actually the other guy that works with us, the strong bull ropes, he does it, but his ropes are stiff, like just
Yeah.
out the box are stiff, even without the clear coat. And his ropes, I had a guy, he told me he'd been on about 125 head, and the rope was still going good.
Dang. Yeah, and man,
Yeah.
it's so too when you get into the bull ropes and everything, and even the different kind of leather. It's so personal. Every guy's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like something a little bit different, and
Mm-hmm.
even for me, I would go there for a minute. I was going with straight Brazilian ropes, and I was getting them
Mm-hmm.
like FR bull ropes, quality bull ropes, great bull ropes from Brazil,
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
really stiff. I mean, they're like riggins, and
Yeah.
the way I didn't get along with them very well, and so
Mm-hmm.
then Austin, even though it was a cheaper kind of leather, uh, he kind of had the higher rise than you have, but
Mm-hmm.
his that leather breaks down sooner. So it doesn't
Yeah.
take maybe a couple rides and it's broke down to where it's kind of pulling on my hand, kind of like an American would have.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I
Yep.
really liked about your rope when I got your rope in is you kind of have a stiffer or a thicker leather. It's definitely a little bit different, but it's a stiffer leather, but your rise is smaller and it actually pulls
Yeah.
down on my hand. It's almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to a here. There's another rope I got Blake Lewis made, and I really liked it.
Okay.
It's similar to yours, except for you have a bigger block. So I can
Mm-hmm.
already tell that that rope is going to last longer than this one did. I won a lot of money in this rope though. Uh,
Okay.
so you can see
Yeah.
the size of the block. How you
Yeah.
know that's a much smaller block than what
Hmm.
this is. It's almost I don't even know how to describe it. It's tiny. I mean, this sucker is not very big.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. I can see it from the picture there. So a lot of with these ropes, like how you mentioned the Brazilian made Brazilians, we carried them for a while, but I had a lot of complaints, like you said, like people were not used to being so stiff in there that your hand doesn't move, like it's stiff. If you have never ridden with a super stiff Brazilian rope and you just go from one day to another, I mean, I had people that wanted to return them, and these are quality ropes. I mean, they're $400 for a reason, obviously.
Yeah,
And
for
I had people like, hey, I'm not I'm not liking this rope. This rope isn't working for me. Like, can I switch it out? Like, I know it's a good rope, but it's just not working for me. Like I'll try to help you sell it, and then you can get another one from us. But I can't just take it back. Especially, I mean, they go on 3 or 4 head and decide that they don't like it, and I'm just kind of like, dude, like it's. I guess you could say on a Brazilian rope. Obviously, Brazilian made is the best of the best. But I mean, everybody's kind of has their preferences when it comes to all that stuff.
And I think there's different riding styles and if you're used to riding really underneath your rope, then
Mm-hmm.
stiffer Brazilians are great. And if you're more used to breaking over a little bit and riding that front end a little bit more, then I think it's nice to have, what was yours two was it a 2.5 inch rise?
Yeah, those are 2.5 inch. Everything that I have in stock is 2.5 inch rise, just because that's kind of like the standard. We've brought a couple 3 inch, 3.5, but then like just for somebody in a bind, most of the time they want to like low rise.
Yeah,
It's very rare, and especially with like the specifications for the PBR, like they're a little more strict than the PRCA. So I always kind of try to go by the book.
by the book, yeah, for sure. And honestly, with the PBR, like with the one you got, which I would have got the exact same rope no matter what, you probably
Yeah.
could go up to three and a quarter on that rope,
Hmm.
still meet the
Yeah.
specifications within the PBR. The PBR, what they do, they just take a 2x4,
2x4. Hmm.
stick it in there, and then tighten it up. But for me, I don't. I like it to bite
Yeah.
down on my hand. I actually like it to feel like an American,
Okay.
as far as pulling down on my hand.
Okay.
Again, that's not everybody.
Yeah. So we actually had a situation with my buddy from Strong Bull Ropes. So we had a guy that kind of that thought he wanted the same thing, like to pull for it to pull tight. So instead of a 2.5 rise, he was like, "Hey man, I want a 2 inch rise. I want a 2 inch rise, 2 inch rise, 2 inch." Like, hey, I don't think that's gonna work out. It's gonna be too tight. No, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. So this guy makes a rope, boom, 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 ships it out. He calls me like a couple days later. Hey, this guy says he wants his money back. That rope is not working out for him. I was like, what's wrong with it? He's like, well, it's too tight on his hand. I was like, dude, we argued back and forth with this person for a couple of days, and he was like, like insisting on a 2 inch rise. But I mean, that's when it comes to bull ropes, I guess I hate to say it this way because I mean I'm not an expert and I'm no professional, but everybody always thinks they know what they're talking about when half of the time it's just stuff that you hear online or see or in comments and stuff like that.
Sure.
And it kind of always comes back to
Yeah, and
trying to buy.
I don't know. See, I'm not that picky when it comes to my bull ropes. I'm really not. There's some things that I like for instance, that one when I told you I kind of like it to pull down on my hand like an American.
Mhm.
I don't just
Yeah.
like a super fat tail. But I don't know how to tell you that in measurements and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
And to be honest, I've rode it. It matters less to me about the width of the tail and even the handle. I've rode in wider tails and I've rode in smaller tails, and
Mhm.
I'm right there in the middle because my hands are, I think I wear 8.5 gloves, so I'm just kind of right
Mhm.
right there in average
Yeah.
8.5. But I think that to me mattered a lot less than knowing I'm
Yeah.
getting one that's 2.5 inches or that's going to bite down on my hand versus one that's going to
Mhm.
be super stiff. Uh,
Yes, for sure. No, yeah, that's kind of a thing that we encounter that a lot. Somebody's like, hey, I want my handle to be 9/16 inch, and I want my tail to be 15/16 inch. I was like, okay, so you want your handle to be a half an inch and your tail to be 1 inch. He's like, no, I want it to be 16, or it was 15/16 of an inch. I was like, dude, how much is 1/16 of an inch? Like, look on a tape measure. And he's like, that's what I want. I was like, all right, but all right, you're good. So I go to the rope maker. I was like, hey, 1 inch tail. Boom, get it shipped out. Nothing like there was really nothing, no complaints on it. It's
No, but
more of a mental thing
yeah,
because I know.
yeah,
So basically, obviously everybody has their own ways of working it. Everybody has their strategies and everything. But for us, basically, it's a 3/4 inch, a 7/8 inch, or 1 inch,
okay.
or bigger if
And
you want one.
you
There's
can
people.
kind of measure that, then it's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
If it gets small enough, how do you even measure that? And then what about, these ropes? What about temperature and shipping? And I
Yeah.
don't know, but
No,
I
you.
do know that whether it's heat, warm or cold, or
Yeah.
stuff.
It's all leather too, so it all stretches a little bit. And there's always a lot of details, like you say. Once you tighten it, obviously, when you tighten your tail up, it's going to go from 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch once you pull it really good.
Right.
But it's kind of like I mean, it's all mental thing. More nobody's really gonna go and say, hey, this tail is not 3/4 of an inch. It's what's 3/4 times 8? It's 6/8 of an inch or 7/8 of an inch, whatever it is. And then I did like these little measurements is kind of more of like or everybody asks for a baby nine, but nobody really knows what a baby nine really is.
Keith, I don't know what a baby nine is. Keith, I'm pretty sure you know one because his tails, he gets so little. He tiny. I don't even know how he does it. I guess he has things, but it's after he uses it
Yeah,
for about 3 months, and you go look at Keith's rope, and he already orders it small, but by then it's fully stretched out, and
yeah. So the thing with those ropes too, a lot of people don't understand that the thinner it is, especially for these big bulls, I mean, you get 1/2 inch tail, you're pulling, you're pulling, you're pulling. It's not gonna last as long as a. It's the same amount. It's the same material and everything. It's just really thin. So you pull, put so much pressure on it. It's not gonna hold up as much.
yeah,
Handles are the same thing. Your handle, you get it 1/2 inch. It's gonna be tight for a while. It's gonna be really stiff for a while, but just because it's so thin, it's gonna give out sooner than a bigger handle.
yeah. That's probably
Which
why too. A lot of them Brazilians that are using the true Brazilian ropes, a lot of those handles are thick. I
hmm
And a lot of those guys, like I don't even know why they get new ropes. I mean, I can't tell you how many I bought ropes from
Oh man.
Barbosa, and they're used ropes. And why are you getting a new rope right now? This is too
No, dude.
for me.
The my good buddy is Junior Patrick Souza. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
if you
okay, yeah, I know
he's a
Junior.
good buddy. He used to live an hour away, so we would go over there every once in a while. He has a wall of ropes. They all look new. He's like, yeah, I don't like that one because of this, so it's there. I don't like this one. I don't like that one. He'll get a new one. He'll use it once or twice for practice. Nope, I don't like it. Off to the wall.
Off to the
Off
wall.
to the wall.
That,
He's very very picky, and I mean obviously it's been good for him. He's been doing good, but he's very picky with his ropes.
and
And
everybody's
I know a lot of the guys.
Yeah, everybody's a little
hmm
different, and I think people change too. As the
hmm
years go on, I don't know if it's little subtleties, and you're right. I play golf a lot, and
Yeah.
it's a big thing with golfers. Golfers are kind of changing little things. Their swing changes from year to year, and I think
hmm
that kind of happens a little bit with bull riding as well, maybe as far as
For sure.
the feel and the timing, and uh,
Yeah. No,
you,
yeah, it's
you see that a little bit. Do you have any questions that you ask guys when they're inquiring about ropes? Is there anything that to try to make sure that you're kind of getting right? Is there anything that you come across that you?
um so most of the time it's more like oh, I need a thin toe. What's the thinnest that I can get? And then it's kind of just asking like, oh, what size glove do you wear?
Yeah, okay.
Uh that's kind of where I base my style, my measurements and stuff. If they don't know what they need, I'll just be like, hey, what size glove do you wear? So most of the time, if you're about a size 7 or 8, I'd get you what I sent you,
Yeah.
which is a 3/4 inch handle and 3/4 inch tail. If you go a little bit like 8 or 9, like a lot of these guys and like Zeke, Blue Mitchell, he just ordered a rope from us.
Oh, did he?
Um, yeah, he just got one, and then Brian Titman,
Yeah.
he wanted the same exact rope. So they're about 8 or 9s, I believe, in gloves. So they need a 7/8 tail and a
Okay.
7/8 handle. So you kind of go off of that,
Up
and
to
then just from like a majority of the people that I sell to are kids, man. Uh, just because it's so accessible for them to just, especially, I mean, we're on TikTok, so they message me on TikTok, hey, I need this, boom, boom, boom. 5 minutes later, I'm on the phone with their parents, like, hey, are you sure this isn't a scam? And I'm like, no, like, I'm a legit business. I just like to make TikToks.
Right.
But a lot of the time is just kind of getting in contact with them, making sure they know what they want. Like, I'll get the question like, hey, what's better, American or Brazilian? So then, like, my number one question is, especially for beginners, like, where are you learning to ride? Who's teaching you? What are they like? If you get a Brazilian, will they be able to teach you to use a Brazilian? Because I know here in here in Fresno, there's a practice pin there. It's called Jerry Brown's. They're all transitioning to Brazilian ropes now because there was a guy there who was like kind of like the teacher,
Uh-huh.
and he was big on Brazilian, like Brazilian rope, Brazilian rope. Everybody used to use American. He came around. He started teaching everybody to use the Brazilian rope and actually like uh, use it correctly. So they're big on Brazilians. And then there's a guy down south in man, I forgot exactly, but it's AK Bucking Bulls. I know over there they're big on American.
I've
So
seen
they're
on Facebook.
yeah, so they're big on American. They have their practice pin there. So I always like they'll ask me like what's better, American or Brazilian. I'm like, man, if you're just starting off, just talk to whoever's teaching you, talk to whoever's helping you out, and make sure they know what they like. That way you can try it too, and you learn what they're teaching you. Because obviously, if they're teaching you with an American bull rope and you have a Brazilian and everything's backwards, you're kind of gonna be all over the place, and you're not gonna understand exactly what you're doing there.
I never really thought about that. You know, when I first started, it wasn't 2012. I started riding bulls, and there wasn't a ton of Brazilians around,
Hmm.
Brazilian ropes. Um,
Yes, sir.
wasn't a ton of Brazilian ropes around, and so pretty much American was the only choice. Like I wasn't even introduced to that question really that early. Um, and
Yeah.
there was starting to where now it's been a huge transition in it, and I've started realizing even some of the different feels of it. So I never thought about somebody teaching you and whether what they're teaching you is going to directly correlate to what you're feeling with the rope you're using. But I know I
Yeah.
used to jump bulls a lot, so I would if especially if a bull was hair triggered, then I would
Hmm.
not jump them. I wouldn't do that all the time, but on specific types of bull. And with a Brazilian rope, I won't ever do that.
Yeah, no, yeah. So that's kind of like more what I ask when it comes to ropes, especially for these beginner guys. I like to help them out because I know, like, I've seen people start off and everybody's kind of like, like you ask them something. Like, people come to me sometimes for riding advice, and I'm like, man, like 100%, I'm not a bull rider, but I'm around all these guys. I kind of pick up the little things here and there. Uh, I set up my booth at bull riding schools. Like when I go to bull riding school, I'm paying attention 100% just to see what they're learning, and then if anybody like if I can help somebody out in the future, just little things like, hey, you did this, do this. Like I've been on a bull obviously, but not professionally. But uh, that's just my kind of like my main deal. Just if somebody asks me for advice, or if I can't help them out, send them the way that someone else can help them out. Or that's kind of what I like to do. So more asking questions like that rather than just like, oh, here's a bull rope here. This is the best one. Like, no,
Yeah,
no. Yeah, this is the best one. This is what you need. Just because this is all I have on hand. This is what you need.
this is
So
yeah,
I'm more.
man.
That's more what I would ask.
I do know you're quick. You get right now. Everybody's backed up. It seems like, which it's not. I say everybody. There's only so many people in the states, or that are well known right around here. There's only so many people that are well known.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, you're gonna have a longer wait time. Uh, really just a few. MX, I think they were 4 or 5 months. Blake Lewis, he's maybe even farther back, but
Yeah.
Blake's kind of transitioning to not doing it full time. So, you still have some of that. Brian
Yeah.
Franks, and he makes good ropes, but I
Hmm.
think he was 8 months last time I checked. Uh,
Yeah, for sure.
Brazilians, if you get an FR, you get them pretty quick. But
Hmm.
you're getting a specific kind of rope, but it's a true
So
Brazilian.
so with the FR ropes, I've seen a bunch of them pop up everywhere. So what those are now, they're kind of transitioning more into like, well, I mean, obviously they're bigger, but so them and MX are kind of doing the same thing. So they're transitioning more into a factory style. That's
Okay.
why you can get an FR rope so quick. So FR, Fabio Ribeiro, he's not making bull ropes anymore. He has kind of like a factory going on to
Uh-huh.
where there's a whole bunch of people. That's their job to make their ropes. So, well, I've never seen a bad rope from them, and I mean I don't know specifically what like these Brazilians look for in them,
Yeah, I don't either.
but
Hey there, folks. I want to tell you about my favorite cowboy hat brand, Sombrero Brands. As a professional bull rider, I know how important it is to have a hat that not only looks good, but can withstand the toughest rides out there. And that's exactly what Sombrero Brands delivers. Their hats are custom fitted and shaped to perfection, with a level of attention to detail that's hard to find these days. But what really sets Sombrero Brands apart is the fact that they're a family owned and operated business. Mark and Kendall Holler, the owners, and their daughter Sarah, who's only 13 but already a hat making prodigy, are all passionate about their craft. They know what it takes to make a cowboy hat that can stand up to anything the rodeo circuit can throw at it. And get this, the founder's grandfather, Polly Holler, was born and raised at South Camp on the Four Sixes Ranch. These folks have got cowboy blood running through their veins, and it shows in every hat they make. That's why I'm proud to have Sombrero Brands as a major sponsor for my podcast, the Rodeo Wagon Podcast. So if you're in the market for a hat that's tough enough to handle anything the rodeo throws at it, give Sombrero Brands a try. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
what I was saying was with the factory style of working. I mean, you never know who's making your ropes. You don't know
Yeah, sure.
how long they've been making ropes for, if they actually know what they're doing. So with that factory style of, obviously it's a bull rope. It's something very, I don't want to say intimate, but it's something very I mean when you're using it, it's something for the sport that you love, and it's just like you need it to be good. You can't just have it off of a factory from China kind of deal.
Especially consistency,
Hmm.
it's going to make
Yeah,
it, I could see how having multiple people making ropes can mess with the consistency. And
yeah,
especially at a high level, if there's a specific feel that you're getting from that rope,
yeah.
that's gonna, maybe even dip into that consistency a little bit. I even noticed some ropes, it'll take 15, 20 bulls before I even like them.
Yeah,
And
no, that's
sometimes I'll struggle. Like I'll
hmm
almost just dread getting a new rope because it's gonna take 15 to 20 bulls of just suck before I get that
hmm
nice feeling that you're used to. And
yes, sir.
getting on better bulls helps break that timing down a
Hmm.
little bit. And obviously I've started to really pay attention to like what you sent me. I loved because it was a smaller rise, 2.5 inches was perfect for me. And so it kind of took away that process of having that leather that,
Yeah,
3 inches break all the way down to where, it was pulling down and being able to crack out over my bull rope. Um,
yes, sir.
and you guys, are pricing wise, I don't, you guys are probably the best priced ropes I've seen out there. What are you guys running right
Uh,
now? Three
so right
hundred?
now for a full size, we're doing 300 to 340, depending if it's in stock, if it's custom colors and all this other stuff. Which by colors, I don't mean like, oh, if it's blue, it's gonna be so much. Just kind of what we have. Like if you want a pink bull rope, like I'll make it happen. It'll cost a little bit more, and it'll take
Yeah,
me a week or so to get the material. Which we right now we're kind of transitioning more into a more generic ropes to make it more just black on black, white on white, black and tan. That way it's easier. Like I said, if you're in a rush and you need something now, I mean, it's not gonna be like, oh, there's a red rope. Blue's my color. Like that's what we're kind of doing now. But yeah, we're going for about 300, 320. And
320. Yeah,
then
this is the
uh
green. This is
yeah.
my first green rope. Which I don't even care about color. All
Yeah.
man makes no difference
Oh man.
to me. But that was
Man, you you should see some of the people, man. They're like, "Hey, I want a purple rope. I want a pink rope, and that's what I want." Hey, man, I can't get that material in for 2 weeks. I want a pink rope, and I want it now. And I'm like, man, dude, like, give me 2 weeks. No, I need it. I need it on Saturday. I'm like, damn, dude, like, we can't do it, man. I'm sorry. I wish we could. If we had the material in, and if it's a Monday, I can have the rope at your house by Friday. And then obviously with that, I mean, the custom cost, like I said, it's a little bit more. And then for like standard shipping, I don't charge. But if you need it overnighted,
Yeah.
it is a little bit more of a charge, obviously. But if like I said, if you order on Monday, I can have that at your door on Friday. And it's gonna be the same rope every time.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Especially for us guys that are, trying to make a living, going down
Yeah.
the road and, and
No, yeah.
and heck, you're doing so much more than that too. So what else are you doing? I mean, what are you actively more involved in that, you see a lot of your business kind of thriving in? Because I can't be just bull ropes or even bull riding.
So we've been leaning more towards the bull riding this past, well, just from this year forward. Just we do a lot of custom boots, which I don't really advertise it too much, just because I mean with boots, obviously it's the same thing as a bull rope. The weight sometimes is ridiculous, and I haven't got it down to where I can be like, hey, I can get you a custom pair of boots in this amount of time. It always varies.
Yeah.
So like I don't like to offer it too much, but we do.
What does that come down to? So when you're dealing with like the wait times and stuff with boots, what does that go into on your part as far as making boots and you know
It really depends on what the, I guess you could say, the demand is at that specific time. Like let's say it was about February, I ordered like 12 pairs of boots. This guy got them done for me in less than 2 months.
okay.
From there, I ordered another like 6 or 7 pairs, just because the same people that ordered those boots are like, hey, we really like them. Let me get another pair. It's been now 4 months, and I'm barely gonna get in half of the pairs. So
Man,
it
yeah.
really depends. That's why I don't really advertise it too much. Like I'll get boots in, and then whatever I have in stock, I'll advertise like, hey, I got a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever it is, and then offer custom every once in a while. Like I had a guy, he messaged me the other day. He's like, hey man, I'm looking for a specific boot. Can you help me out? And yeah, what is it? He's like, just a rough stock boot, 12 inches high, the heel, the rawhide leather in the back. I was like, all right, yeah, give me a couple days to see how quick I can get them for you. And then I talked to him. I was like, it's gonna be about 2 to 3 month wait. He's like, man, whatever it is, that's fine. Just I've been looking for them online everywhere. Everybody else is sold out. There's
Yeah.
not too many people really sell them like in stock, I guess you could say.
Probably it's probably a niche market to be honest too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Everybody wants them, but how many people is everybody?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the kind of problem that we ran into too when I would bring in 15, 20 pairs. It's like, man, everybody wants them, but now that I have them here, it's taking me 2 to 3 months to sell them. When I don't have them, I have people asking me every day, hey, do you have boots? You have boots? You have boots? I was like, all right, so now I have them here. Like the last time I brought in 24 pairs, and I had, before I got them in, I had people message me on Instagram like, hey, do you got those rough stock boots? You got the, because I put them on TikTok. You got the boots? You got the boots? Like, yeah, man, I got them. I got them. I got them. And then like out of all those people, maybe 25% of them ordered, and then I was just stuck with a whole bunch of boots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of why, like right now specifically, what's been the best and what we're really leaning towards is like the, obviously the bull rope. That's like our number one. From everything from sheep rope, calf rope, steer rope, the junior bull ropes, and then your full size adult rope, stuff in stock, and then custom orders. That's like our number one. Spurs number two, which shoot man, the Spurs are, I mean, we could talk about Spurs for days too. There's so many specific things that
You,
everybody kind of looks for.
you make your spurs?
No, so we have two guys working for us.
Okay.
Um so one of them is a little bit more economical. It's a good spur, stainless steel, has your PBR route. And then I got like your kind of, I mean, I don't really like to compare, but what would be like your slinging shank kind of deal.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh way better quality, last you a lot longer. Uh, they called it a forever spur. We
Forever.
went to yeah, Gary LaFew was actually the one that he's like, hey, if you guys are looking for spurs, these are forever spurs right here. You'll buy them once and never have to buy them again. Is
Yeah.
there? I mean, the quality on them is great.
There's not a ton of guys out there making spurs either. That's another
Yeah,
little Slinging Shanks is probably the go-to,
that's
but
I,
probably just
yeah.
there's not there's more rope makers than there is guys
Mhm.
making spurs.
So with the spurs too, I know for a fact because I mean, everybody that does kind of what I do. I've seen like three other people kind of come into the market after. Well, when I started, there was one person out of Texas doing what I do.
Uh-huh.
I believe his name's Oscar.
Oh
So
yeah.
him, Oscar, and then right now there's another guy I believe in Utah, the Nitro Bulls.
No, Nitro. Yep. Yep. I've started seeing them too.
So the that spur that I told you was a little bit more economical.
Uh-huh.
We're all getting them from the same place.
The same place. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all getting them from the same place. I'm not sure about other people's prices or anything. I don't really like to get too much into it, but
Right.
I see that spur and I'm like, hey, that's the same place. We're all getting them from the same place. Like it's all the same thing. There's nothing. It's not better. It's not gonna. I mean, prices obviously are gonna change, but it's all the same spur. Like,
Yeah.
it's all the same manufacturer, same guy making them. I know exactly who makes them, where they get them, how much they cost, and everything. But from there is where I was like, hey, you know what? This is not what I mean. I want to offer it just because it's a little bit lower price point for people that don't have the money to spend
Yeah.
200 plus on a spur. But I found this guy. He makes have you ever ran into Alvarez Aguilar?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So he makes his spurs. I ran into I it was funny. So the guy that makes my boots made this guy some boots and he tagged them on Instagram. I was like, man, who's this guy? I seen his logo all over the place. Like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? I followed him, started looking into it. He's like, oh, Alvaro Alvarez Aguilar, custom spurs going out the door. I was like, man. So I called them. I was like, hey, like I'm interested in some spurs, wholesale. I need about 30 pairs. Can we do it? He's like, man, I don't really do wholesale because it's just me. Like it's a lot of work, and then especially if you want the rows with them. He's like, every row I make it by hand. Like I'm over here with the little freaking grinder. Like every specific little freaking slot, I'm making it by hand. It's not laser cut or nothing. And I was like, well, man, I'll give you 3 months to make them, but give me 30 pairs. That was the first time. It was 10. I have 2 inch, 2.5 inch, and 3 inch. They're all 30 degrees. So yeah, it took them longer than expected, but I mean those spurs are badass, man. They're a lot better quality than I mean the other ones that I saw. And I mean the price point isn't too bad. It's about the same as a sling and shank,
Yeah.
but the
Yeah.
quality is there.
Yeah.
The quality.
That's cool. I really like what you're doing, and that they're becoming more options for guys coming up. When I first
Yeah.
started, again, even getting equipment was that
Oh
Beastmaster.
yeah.
That Beastmaster was around. There wasn't a whole
Hmm.
lot of places where guys could, go and actually shop around and look at affordability, especially guys getting started where some
Yeah.
of the quality is going to be a little bit less important,
Oh yeah.
especially when it comes to custom stuff. When I first started, you don't know what you need really.
Exactly. So that I try to help out people, and obviously I say like if you guys are looking like starting off and looking to buy all your gear, like I always help out people. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have people that come in and they're like, "Hey, I need spurs, rope, vest, helmet, everything." I'm like, "All right, come in and we'll hook you up, man." Like I always give everybody a nice discount. Like I mean, there's always a little bit of room to help people out. I had a guy, he got his rope stolen. He got his gear bag stolen one day, and he was gonna ride in a couple days. He came in the store, and I was like, "All right, man, here I'll give you the rope pad for free. I'll give you $100 off the rope. The spurs, I'll give them to you for 100. I didn't give them to him for $100. I'll give you free straps and a free can of rosin. Like, just get it done, man." And then that kid, he left there. He's like, hey, he called me a couple hours later. He's like, hey, man, even my mom said thank you. Like, thank you for helping us out in these times. Like, it's something that you don't expect. Like, from one day to another, you're not expecting to buy a whole nother gear bag. So when stuff like that happens, actually, Cannon Cravens, I believe his
Yeah,
name is.
yeah, I know Cannon.
He got his gear bag stolen,
Dang.
and I messaged them because they broke into our store twice last or 2 years ago. So I know the feeling,
Yeah,
man.
I remember that Facebook post.
Yeah, so that I know the feeling, and it's just like, man, this guy got his gear bag stolen. I messaged him. I was like, hey, man, what kind of rope do you want? And he's like, anything, just right-handed American, just anything. I was like, well, I'll get you a custom one made. No, he's like, no, just send me whatever you have. Whatever you have. So I had a rope. from my buddy from Strong Bull Ropes, and I sent him out. I sent it out to him, and he's like, "Man, this is the best rope I've ever used. How do I get another one?" So I put him in contact with him, and he's on the wait list. So because his wait list is 4 months, I believe. So it's just like, boom, send Cannon a rope, put him on the wait list again. So he's just kind of like,
So
boom,
it
boom,
always,
boom.
yeah.
Yeah, he says he loves those ropes, and he's all for them. And it all started from just me giving him a rope because his gear bag got stolen.
That's cool. Yeah, that man, it's nice being able to buy all your equipment in one place too, and not have
Yeah,
all 50 different places.
no, yeah, for sure. And other than that, I mean, right now what I'm kind of messing around with more is like helmets. So
Yeah,
so my thing is a lot of these like original Bull Tough helmets and all this other stuff. What it is just a Bauer helmet with a sticker on it.
yeah, that's all it
The
is.
so the face mask, like people are paying $800 for these, and it's just like, dude, I can get you that Bauer helmet on eBay right now for $40.
Yeah, and the only difference on some of those is the face mask. That's the only difference, and you have different qualities of that face mask. But the helmets themselves, you can get
So
off eBay or
yeah, so I get them from another site, but a lot of them, I mean, I kind of go off like there's that helmet rating thing on the internet. It's like Virginia Tech. So I go on there, start looking for helmets, kind of see what the best ones are, like the best rated ones are,
sure,
and kind of I just bring them in, see what they look like. Kind of, I obviously people like crazy colors too, so I look for that kind of stuff. But more specifically, more like I get a lot of, or I get like, hey man, why are they so expensive? It's like, dude, this shell costs $300.
yeah,
Like $300 plus all. I mean, a chin strap is almost $30 here at the sporting goods store.
right,
So you're like before I even put a face mask on it, and like every the just on clips, screws, and those little snap buttons, that plus the chin strap plus the helmet, like on a good helmet, you're already down $350
yeah, no joke.
without a face mask. So I mean, I get people. I was like, hey, I want this specific helmet. All right, boom, look it up. I was like, you want a new or used? Because obviously, if somebody uses it for hockey for 10 games, like
Right.
these professional teams sell off their gear at the end of the season. They use them for 10 games, and then it's like a brand new helmet. Like the logos on the inside are still good. That's what I go for. It's like, you want a new or used? If you want to use, I can get you a better price. If you want a new, it's, I mean, your
Yeah,
base price is 400,
right.
400, 450, just because the helmet itself costs 300. And it's like, nah, bro, I'd rather get a two tough. I was like, okay, man, like I don't try to compete with them. I like to give people options. Obviously, they're doing their thing, Two Tough and 100X. I mean, the guy who makes the 100X, we met him last year in Texas. He was a super nice guy.
Yeah, yeah,
I showed him what we were doing, and he's like, "Well, yeah, good luck with it, man." Like, he does his own thing. He doesn't talk down on anybody else. Like,
yeah,
he was really cool to us.
yeah. Chris is a good guy.
Uh, yes, sir. And then, I mean, that's kind of what I've been messing around with lately. The helmets more, just putting together different kinds of helmets. Oh man, I have one that I just put together for a buddy of ours in Texas. I have it in my room. I should have brought it out with me. But yeah, just doing that. I mean, just trying to make it more accessible, I guess. Because like I told you, like these OG Bull Tough, like because they're like the best of the best. They're going for $800 used. And when was the last time a Bull Tough helmet was even made? Like I try to Google it, and it's like they don't. It doesn't. Nothing comes up.
That's nuts. $800. That's
And I'm not too sure. Like I said, this was before my time, so I don't know when they were in the market or how long they were in the market. When the last time they sold a helmet was, because I mean those Bauer helmets. I mean the plastic that they're made of over time, they kind of not dry rot, but they get dry and
yeah.
crack like really easily. So I mean, a lot of these people are like, "Oh, it's a Bull Tough, it's a Bull Tough." Like, man, dude, like get the face mask, get a new helmet on there, and
Well, and they're made so it's different than 100X, which I think 100X still are to a certain degree, but a lot of those helmets they're made to break, and that's
oh
actually
yeah.
they're made to do that so that it takes the impact. It
Hmm.
spreads that out. Where the 100X are just built. They have the unique helmet. You put that aside, that's a whole different.
Yeah, that's like a bull riding specific. Like,
Yeah, it's
so
very
that's why I say I've never compete with them because they're on a whole different level.
Yeah.
They have their manufacturers. They have everything is getting
Right.
made specifically for them. They're not doing what I do, kind of piecing
Every,
everything
yeah.
together.
Yeah, everything else is piecing it together. I mean,
Hmm.
they're not manufacturing, you know, and the
Yeah.
hockey helmets,
So
you are what it is. And there's still a huge market out there for people that's, they prefer that kind of helmet.
yeah, no. So with Chris, like when we talked, he's like, yeah, man, like a lot of people like my helmets, a lot of people don't. Like that's fine. It's totally up to everybody what
Right.
they like. Like people use them and they don't like. Like I had a this Brazilian guy. He sold me a 100X helmet. Because I just wanted to see. Like, before this was before we met Chris. So I just wanted to see what it was, what it's all about.
Right.
So he's like, I don't like it. It's too heavy for me.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll buy it. I'll buy it off you.
That's the biggest complaint. I would say, I feel like getting, as far as getting stepped on, those 100Xs to me are just bar none. However,
Mhm.
the downside to the 100Xs is maybe a little bit on the weight. I feel like I've been knocked out more using a 100X just hitting the ground.
Mhm.
Whereas with, when I was using the other helmet, it didn't happen as much when I was hitting the ground. However, getting stepped on, it was the exact opposite. So it's almost like, you know,
Yeah, the
you
give and take. There,
you get the give and take. What do you want? And then, what does it feel like?
what you're more comfortable with, and just kind of like, I mean, that's kind of a big. I mean, like I said, we could talk about that for days too. Helmets and safety, and obviously, I mean, back in the day, there was those guys making those cowboy armor. I think it's called cowboy armor, something like that. And it was just a warrior helmet, I think, with a lacrosse face mask, and they were selling them for $450 when it cost them not even $100 to put it all together. And it's like, man, like, and I look into this stuff, like I look it up, I see where like, because once I started seeing like these Bultuff helmets, Bultuff $700, $600, $800, OG, I started looking into it, and then just looking into a whole bunch of like there was like this old school bull riding forum which talked about like that the cowboy armor, and then but there really wasn't too much on the actual Bulta, like on their company or nothing. There's nothing on the internet. So I've always had that curiosity to see where the hype comes from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an interesting deal. Um, yeah. What you've been doing quite a bit on social, obviously. How long have you been in operation for now?
So this business we started it in 2020, peak COVID.
Oh, so you're 3 years in.
3 years in.
You're
Yeah,
doing
it's actually 3 years this month, something like that. One of these days, it's been exactly 3 years that we started. And so with that, I mean, 3 years with that, and we started like using the whole TikTok thing at the end of 2021. Like October 2021 was when we hopped on TikTok and just kind of started putting out the content of like the bull ropes, and it just kind of popped off a little bit. I mean, we've been lucky to have that audience, like you could say, have that audience that follows us and just kind of like goes crazy for like random videos. I mean, I would just record videos just for fun. That's kind of how it all started. Just funny TikTok, or what I thought was funny TikToks, and then transition when the oh, you're not the only place, you're not the only place, you're not the like dude, that video popped off, and just they're like, oh, there's a place like or there's a place in this little town, and I'm like, okay, man, like cool. I didn't know they were there. My bad, but man, all those comments really pop off the video, and then just kind of that's how I went. I went from there, just promoting our bull ropes, promoting spurs, like the rosin that we would get, everything just kind of started from there, and it just kind of started going and going and going. And I mean, right now, I'd say about half of our business just comes off of TikTok.
off TikTok. Yeah, yeah. You've done really good on your social. All of your social handles have been
Yes,
pretty
sir.
well, I've been kind of looking into you more, and after getting the bull
Hmm.
rope, and I really like the bull rope.
Yes, sir.
Um, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
pumped about that. And I was in kind of weird spot of trying to get a bull rope and
Oh yeah.
get anything custom. I went to Blake. I love that bull rope, but at the same time, I
Hmm.
understand his circumstances, and I knew, okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to be able to get one for X amount of time. So,
Yeah.
and then Austin is for me just kind of super unreliable.
I've
You
I've
just
heard
don't know when you're going to get it. You're going to get your bull rope. You just don't know.
eventually.
Yeah, really. If it's
So that's kind of a
if it's pre-made, if it's one he already has made, generally it's pretty good about just shipping it right out. But
yeah.
if it's not, then it still could be 4 to 6 months. Just like everybody
Yeah.
else. And Keith, that's what kind of brought me on YouTube. And I had
Well,
seen you on Instagram and TikTok, but I hadn't really
yes, sir.
put two and two together. I knew that you kind of sold everything, so I'd never really thought that you think, or I thought more of specific bull rope makers.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
there's other guys out there. Yeah, Beastmaster's been doing it for a long time. They have bull ropes and
Yeah. So we actually ran into them in Vegas, and I was like, "Hey, man, like we saw bull ropes, and right now we're like kind of at one point with this, we kind of wanted to go into more of a wholesale kind of deal. So I
yeah,
ran into them. I was like, "Hey, we saw bull ropes. Like, here's a couple samples. Check it out." They just brushed this off.
but
I'm
yeah.
like, "All right, man, cool."
I've
I
never
mean,
actually bought any. The only thing I bought from Beastmaster that I buy from them is their benzoin.
okay.
Benzoin. And every once in a while I'll benzoin my ropes up. Kind of towards the end. Once they get to that spot where I really like them, I'll benzoin them up.
Hmm.
Really, generally I only do it maybe once. And I
Okay.
don't know
Yeah.
how much longer they last doing it. Some of it
Nah.
could be just more of a placebo effect, but I found
Yeah. It's what you like, so it's kind of like it's a helps the. I know bull riding is it's a lot more mental than a lot of people think.
yeah.
That's what I've seen that just ring around the practice pin and all this other stuff. I know Junior. When he came back from his injury, I took him some of our bulls to practice on, and he was like nervous, nervous. I was like, I got him from the helmet. I was like, hey, wake the fuck up! And oh my bad. I was like, wake up! This is what you know how to do. You came here to do this. Why are you scared? And he's like, all right. And yeah, he like that mental thing was like really blocking him off. And I always tell him, I was like, hey, like, how you doing? He's like, oh, good, good, good. I seen him in Clovis a couple months ago. I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh yeah, better, better. Yeah, that day I got him from the helmet. I was like, hey, snap out of it. Come on, man. But Junior's a great guy. I know him.
He's a good
We've
guy.
been we've been knowing him for a while now, and he's always been really good to us.
Speaking of spurs, I actually borrowed when I was kind of testing out some new spurs a year or two ago, and
Hmm.
he sent me like three different pairs, and I was trying them out.
Yeah, no, those are at Spurs is I mean, I got guys that want 75-degree turn in or freaking no turn in. You get there's so much that you can change in a spur that man, that's
How you
it's
ride
crazy.
does matter. What
Hmm.
your spurs are degreed at, and it all depends
The
on
length, yeah.
how much do
No,
you
yeah, for sure.
lift, how much you turn your toes up, out.
Hmm.
All of it comes into to play.
Yep, exactly. So that stuff specifically, man. Like Spurs, uh, I've made custom Spurs with like a seven, like I said, like a 75-degree turn in. I've made custom Spurs that are like, I want it to be 2 inches with almost not like 15 degrees, which is like nothing,
Yeah.
and they're kind of almost like the bareback Spurs. I think bareback Spurs are like 5 degrees or something, but like something like that. And I'm like, oh, like these people, like that's the thing. Even more than ropes that I've seen vary a lot more than in the customization aspect of it, to where there's just so much you can change in such a like. I mean, you see a spur, obviously. It's like it's a spur, but there's so much you can change on them.
Oh yeah, there's tons. Yeah, I saw, and a lot of the Brazilians use them, and they're like the teardrop, but at the very
Yeah.
end, they kind of tear up.
Hmm.
So they come down like your regular. teardrop spurs, and then at the very
Yeah,
they kind of come up just a little bit. It's not like a complete up shank. It's just
yeah,
a little bit to where they're not going down. And
I've
those
seen
are the ones
those.
I wanted to try out. That's what I borrowed one set from Junior, and then the other set that he had didn't have that, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I ended up going with them. I actually ended up going with well, Andrew Alvidrez. I think Andrew got it from
Hmm.
somebody, and then so he got a made like that, and then Keith got his made just like Andrew, and then I got mine made just like Keith, and then I know another
Okay. It
his
goes.
made just like mine. I'm like, that's funny. It's just like going down this line.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've seen that. Even here, like the ones that I've sold them, they're like, "Hey, man, this guy got the Spurs. He got the Spurs," and then sell them to one. He lets the other guy borrow them. Hey, I need that same exact Spur. Can you get it from me? Yeah, I have them right here. I need that. Don't change nothing. Exactly how you sold it. Yeah. So it goes like that. It's kind of it's funny how that happens. And then I know in Bakersfield, they're all same spur too, a 3 inch, 30 degree. They're all using the same spur. They all want the same spur that this guy Luis Tinoco uses. And shout out to Luis. He always helps us out too, gets a lot of business out of his practice pin. We've never actually been out there, but I mean, half of the gear there is from us.
That makes it easier on you guys when you start getting
Hmm.
people asking, and it probably
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier instead of telling somebody, "Hey, I want this
Hmm.
specification." You can just be like, "Hey, I want it like this guy." I got a rope.
Yeah.
Who is it from?
Oh,
I can't forget who it is, but Kyler Oliver gets ropes from him, and it's a Brazilian rope. And his isn't as bad as FR on just complete stiffness and stuff, but it was still
okay.
it took about 2025 before it broke in for me, and it just was a little
Yeah.
bit stiff for my liking. But when I would message him, I would just say, "I want a rope just like Kyler Oliver's rope."
No, yeah, for sure. I get a lot of that. Because I had for a while we were carrying these are RR, so they were made by Ricardo Ribeiro from Brazil too. And I would get guys, hey, I want that rope. That who was the first one that bought one from us? I believe it was the same guy, Luis Tinoco. I want the same rope that he's got. Same rope, same rope, same rope. Hey, I seen this rope over there. You still got him? Yeah, I got a couple. All right, I want the same rope. But then they would come back to the same thing, like, hey, this is too stiff. Like what I told you earlier, like, hey, it's not working out for me. It's too stiff. And yeah, there was a whole bunch of trading going on and stuff. Like there was only about 10 ropes that I brought, so I know I can pick them out in the crowd. And I'm like, hey, I didn't sell you that rope. Where'd you get it from? Oh, yeah, I got it from this guy, and then this guy got it from this guy, and I'm like, damn, dude, these things go around. But shoot, I had a guy here from he's a little about an hour north. He called me. He's like, hey, I got this rope. I used it on 20 head, but I can't. It's not working for me. One of the Brazilian ropes.
Yeah.
So he left-handed one. I called this guy. He had asked me for another one. I was like, hey, this guy got one. He only used it on 20 head. Oh, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. I don't care what it costs. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm like, all right, man. And then I got him in contact with him, and then he came back and got a different rope. So it's just kind of like, I mean, here locally at least we can kind of
Yeah.
crisscross and trade.
Yeah. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
see on those sites and stuff, you see a little bit of it, but man, anymore, you can't hardly trust any of those Facebook groups.
Oh
There's
man,
so many
dude.
scammers going around. Probably 3 out of every 4 posts is somebody
No,
trying
even
to
more.
scam somebody.
They they started stealing my post, like my descriptions and everything, my pictures, my descriptions, everything. And I'm like, man, like I remember the specific post. It was when we were barely gonna open our store. I think I needed like $300 or something to pay the business license like at the city. So I put these ropes up. I was like, hey, ropes on sale, uh, special price because I'm opening a store and the expenses are really big or something. I forgot exactly what I put, and I put at the bottom like shipping available. I believe 150 a piece just because I need the money. And I'd seen this thing pop up like 3 weeks ago on Facebook. Same exact picture, same exact. They just copied and pasted. And I'm just like, man, like dude, these guys they don't even hide it anymore. But I was actually just gonna make a TikTok about that because you see, like we see it. Oh, you see a post, I'm like, scam. I can already pick them out. I don't even have to read it. Pick them out. Scam, 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 scam. But then you read in the comments and like, oh, this guy's a scammer. He scammed me. He stole $200 from me. I'm like, dude, like, don't fall for it. Like, that's like the first thing you can do. Just kind of look more into it before you send anybody money.
Yeah.
Uh, Obviously, with us, I know it's. I mean, not everybody's gonna buy. Everybody kind of looking for a deal, looking for a deal. I mean, if it's too good to be true, most of the time it is.
I'd
And
say
like,
what you have going on with your ropes right now, if you can buy a quality rope for 3 to 350, you're getting a good deal. Period.
hmm
That's a good deal. And if you're
that's
buying one used, for me, if I don't know somebody that knows the person I'm buying from, I'm
mhm.
not going to buy it from. At least not shipping. Pick up. It's
Even
it,
even then, you buy a used rope. They could say 20 head, 30 head. They've had that rope for 2 years.
you almost
You
need to
never
see
know.
the person. Or some
hmm
pictures. Some pictures are decent. So there can be some pictures that give you a good idea. If you know who made the rope and you see
Yeah.
the, you can be like, okay, then that's pretty reasonable.
No,
But
yeah, for sure. And then, like you said, like those Brazilian guys that they use them a couple times and they sell them out. Like
yeah,
those, I've seen some of them post on the Facebook groups. Junior posts all the time.
Dinner Barbosa
Uh,
he does.
Danny Barbosa,
I've
yeah.
I bought a new and used one from him, and I
hmm
saw him post it on Facebook, and then I forget where we were at, Sioux Falls or something that next weekend, and so I messaged
Yeah.
him, hey, bring it to Sioux Falls, and I bought him from there. But yeah,
hmm
he posts every now and again. He'll post new used rope.
Yeah. So it's like that. And then for man, these Facebook groups now, it's like you said, there's a page called Equipment, and
Yeah,
they're scamming or bull riding. I can't remember what the other one was called, but I mean, I see the post and I'm like, scam, 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 scam. It's
there's
very rare. Like,
there's like three groups too. There's like three of them on Facebook.
mhm, yeah,
And one of the things
that's
we're doing with Western Edge and the
mhm,
app is building a platform for Western people to connect with Western businesses and
yeah, for sure.
businesses like yours or how this entire you know rodeo world is going to thrive and the people coming
hmm
up are going to have access. Look, not everybody comes out of Texas and grows up having access to
No,
all of this. For
yeah,
me, I when I came into the sport, I was completely rodeo was foreign to me. I didn't know anything,
hmm
and being able to connect with the right businesses and the right people to kind
yes,
of
for
help
sure.
guide me through that process, that wasn't really there. And so one
hmm
of the things that I want to do and what we're doing with Western Edge is being able to highlight businesses like yours
Connecting.
that
hmm
are really helping connect and be that one-stop shop for a lot of these guys coming
Yeah,
up,
for sure.
and even for guys like me and Keith and Blue and Junior Patrick Souza. I mean, guys that are doing this for a living. you know
Yes, for sure.
there's one place where you can go and if your budget doesn't allow you to, you can still come and affordably
hmm
be able to get what you need, and
hmm
all at the
hmm
same time when you do get to the level where you need something very specific that you're able to get that. And
Yes, sir.
that's cool. I hope that we can continue to see that. I hope your business continues to grow and we start seeing more of that because I think it just benefits everybody.
Yes, sir. No, yeah, I mean, we've been trying to get it out there as much as we can. Like I said, TikTok is obviously a big help, but we go out to events and stuff. So actually August 1st or 2nd, we're going to the YBR in Abilene, Texas. It
Okay.
starts one of those 2 days. So
Yeah.
we're going out there. We went last year and man, it was crazy how many people didn't know that we were what we did and who we were.
Right.
I thought obviously like I mean at that time we had maybe 15,000 followers on TikTok, and I thought like people are gonna know us. People like if they don't know of us or what we do, but at least they've seen me on TikTok or something like And then man, you get out there and it's like, oh, where are you guys from? Like, how long have you guys been doing this? I didn't even know you guys were around. Like, I wish I would have known. I just ordered a bull rope from X person, and it's been 4 to 6 months, and I haven't gotten anything, and I can't get a refund. So I mean, I wish I would have known you guys were around. But stuff like that. So we went to that one, and then we went to the WCMB in Mesquite, Texas, as well. The junior rodeo or junior bull riding finals. Same thing over there. It was a lot of the same people, but there was some people that were like, "Hey, we didn't even know you were around." Like, "Oh, my buddy told us about you, but we didn't know how to get a hold of you. And I was like, man, I got the website, I got the TikTok, the 2 Instagram pages. I post on Facebook all the time. Like, and even when I post on Facebook, they'll be like, "Oh, like, is it legit?" And I'm like, yeah, this is like a legit business. If you want to pay me here, you can just go on my website and here's the link. Go buy them there. Like everything's all. I mean, I try to be 100% legit with everybody. Uh, just keep it going, like you said. Make it more accessible for everybody to have it, or everybody to kind of have somewhere to come, where it's just not like you order online and you can't talk to anybody about it. Like, I have my chat on my website. If you guys have any questions about a specific bull rope, I get like, oh, what's a handle size, what's the tail size, or what's the rise on it, who makes them, all this other stuff. I get questions like that all the time. So I mean, I don't mind answering them, just to make it easier, make it a better experience for everybody that kind of comes around and gives us a chance, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think what you're doing with the TikTok and stuff, I think that's gonna really benefit, as you continue to grow because there's a lot of people that are just gun shy because of there's no way to really find out if these places are legit, you know. And
Yeah,
and
for
so
sure.
what you're doing with your content, I believe that's kind of where you're gonna win. You're gonna win the day and the months and
Yeah,
year and you're growing, pretty fast. And
yeah, for sure.
I foresee that continuing to happen just because of your communication. And if you do any level of digging into CP Western, you find out pretty quick that it's a legit company.
Yeah, we've been working on the image of it, everything. Like I'm not the best at uh how could I say it? Like all this Google what SEOs and stuff like that to
Yeah,
where we don't have the budget to pay to be at the top. Like every once in a while, once I get to a foreign computer or somewhere like because obviously if I look it up on my phone, we're gonna be the first ones to pop up. But
yeah,
I like to go on and on somebody else's phone and just Google bull rope, see how far down we are, and I like little by little we're climbing up the scale. Obviously you got the big guys up there. The first one, if you Google bull ropes, the first one's gonna pop up for Beastmaster MX and Rodeo Mart.
right.
From there you got like EPT bull ropes, and then you get us. Like after all the ads and after all this, you get us. Like little by little, we're climbing up. Bull riding spurs. I mean that search like through our app, we can see how many people search for a specific thing or how many people view a page a day. I mean, obviously the spurs are a big thing for us. The bull riding face mask because we saw just the face mask. We're like, there's only one other person that does that online, so that's like a very specific search.
Yeah,
So we
sure.
get that a lot.
Yeah, that's
We get
cool.
that a lot, and then what was it? For a while, it was just the rough stock boots because I had them on the website. There was nothing in stock, but people were just searching them. It was you would search it and it would be the first one to pop up. So
Yeah.
you would get a lot of people on the website for that. But yeah, we try to just keep up with all that kind of stuff. And like I said, we don't have the budget to be at the top, but little by little, just from uh, so many people visiting our website and all this other stuff, we're climbing up. So we're from now right now, I believe we should be in like the top 4 or 5 uh, websites or businesses listed for like bull riding gear.
Well, I think well, that's one thing too that, with which all, you really want to, as a business, you want to immerse yourself in every different way that you can market and be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things with Western Edge that we're really excited for is as this thing grows, that search engine that we have built into the app where people can find
Okay.
the businesses and they can find them close to them and they can actually search keywords and not have to, there's a lot of these businesses that don't even have websites.
Yeah, for
A
sure.
lot of businesses that are, they don't have websites yet. There's a lot of businesses that you're not going to be able to find on Google, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not maybe doing all the right things like you have to kind of try to get into each different way that people
Yes,
are,
sir.
and then monitor and click funnels and all of that to make sure that when you get to their
Yeah.
website, it's one thing
Oh
that
yeah,
we
for sure.
we hope that with our platform we can kind of help people still be able to find those businesses because there's a lot of really good businesses out there that
Mm-hmm.
do quality work and and they just need to be seen like you're talking about, and in that growing stage.
Yeah.
But man, I really appreciate you jumping on. Uh, Guys, you
No,
can go
no
to
problem, man.
Western Edge app and type in CP Western, and
Hmm.
they're gonna pop up. Check it out. You can go. They've got a media gallery. You can look at their stuff there. You can go to their website from there. They have their social handles on there. If you're there just on Facebook or Instagram, what are your handles?
So everything is CP Western. Just to go to like our specific Instagram page, Facebook page. So it's just CP Western. And then I have another one that's called CPW underscore rodeo gear, which highlights more of our like bull riding gear and all
Okay.
this other stuff. Kind of like more of a like that concept is more like kind of like a story sale, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll post random deals on there. Like hey specific or the other day I said I used this rope in a TikTok video, I put rosin on it, $200 and it's yours. Like I'll just do stuff like that, do deals like that, more story sell on that CPW page. And then TikTok is CP Western. And our website is cpwestern.myshopify.com. But it's easier just to go to Google and put CP Western.
Okay.
Uh, and I mean, obviously, go check us out, give us a follow. And just off the top of my head, how about we do this for 2 weeks? Whenever this comes out, you could use Western Edge 20 for 20% off CP Western.
Heck yeah. Yeah, man, we'll do it. We'll send out a
Yes, sir.
notification as well, so we can get
Yes,
everybody.
sir.
Uh,
Yeah.
if
I'll
you have
get.
it downloaded, get that push notification. Go check out CP
Yes, sir.
quality
Yes, sir.
gear. This is
I'll
good.
hop on that right now, and we'll get that 20% discount code for anybody that comes from the Western Edge app.
Yeah. You're making some of the best gear. You're
Thank you,
getting
man.
some of the best gear, and you're selling it at a reasonable price. I really appreciate what you're doing, not
Yeah,
just for
thank you, man.
us at the top level, and but also what you're doing for that next generation coming up that
Yes, sir.
just getting started and they really need
Yeah,
people
no,
to
yeah.
yeah, you're
That's
doing.
our that's one of our favorite things about going out to stuff like that, like the other stuff you see, like you say, the next generation of kids coming in, man. You get 5 and 6 year olds riding sheep and calves, and it's just like, man, these kids they love it, man. I've seen a whole bunch of little 5 and 6 year olds like determined. There's a couple guys around here, like there's some twins. There's two little twins there. I believe they're 5 or 6 this year. I'm like, hey, who's gonna win today? Me. Who's winning today? Nah, me, and then just start right there. And they're good. They're good little calf riders.
That's
That's like the next generation. And then obviously everybody kind of has this image of California and stuff, but there's a lot of bull riding going on in the Central Valley of California.
sure. Yeah, definitely. Man, thanks for coming on.
Yes,
Everybody
sir.
tuning in. Make sure you check out Sombrero Brands, our sponsors. They make some quality hats out of Texas. Thank you for Cosmic Cowboy Productions. They're the ones that make all this happen, put all this together. Man, it would take me way too long to do that. And then obviously Western Edge app. That's why we're doing this. We want to give back. We want to inform people. We want to highlight, different disciplines, different businesses, and I think we can
Mhm.
all benefit from it. Whether you're, bored or you're on the road, check out the podcast. Thanks for supporting it. You like these hats? Go to westernedgeapp.com. It's my favorite kind of hat. We only sell one kind of hat, and it's this one. So if
Heck yeah, man.
you like the hat, check it out. But man, thanks for jumping on.
Thank you for having us, and appreciate the space and the time that you gave us, and all the kind words for our business and our products, man. Really appreciate it.
All right. See you guys later.
See ya.